Yo, what's good? It's Mastermind MMA, and your boy's sick as fuck. Yesterday in one of my videos, I was like, "Oh, I'm falling sick." Your boy done fell the fuck sick. So, I mean, I'm sure you could hear it in my voice right now. Um, so I still wanted to get some content out there, and I don't know. I mean, at this rate, it's just getting worse and worse. So I'm probably gonna sound like a mouth breather like by the during this week. So I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to put out this week. So I still wanted to get content out there, and instead of doing like a bunch of fucking short videos, I'm just gonna do like a little mini podcast episode. I'm gonna call it a half episode. So this is podcast episode 6.5, 6.5, however you want to call it, it's what it is. So yeah, I'm just gonna get right the fuck into it. I'm just gonna go through some headlines. Where do I want to start, man? Oh, I know where I'm gonna start. So fucking Coach Edmond, man, I didn't even get to watch this. And again, please bear with this sick ass voice. I apologize, but really, there ain't shit I can do about it. Coach Edmond went on the MMA Hour, and he was talking about how he wants Ronda to come back. To be honest with you, when I was watching the MMA Hour and I saw head movement name on the bottom of the shit, I was like, yo, I'm not even gonna waste my time. What is he gonna say? So apparently he said he wanted one more fight for Ronda Rousey, and apparently he said he wanted it to be Chris Cyborg. That's how you know this fucker is no good. Like, she just got head kick destroyed by Holly Holm just to come back to get annihilated by Amanda Nunes. Yo, are you in her will, man? I have a theory that Edmond Tarverdyan is in Ronda Rousey's will. And I think he's trying to get that bitch killed. Straight up. Ronda fighting Cyborg at this stage is the death sentence. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? She couldn't even get past fucking Diet Cyborg. Diet Cyborg is Amanda Nunes. She couldn't even get past the fucking great value version of Cyborg. So you really want to fuck with that name brand shit? You want to fuck with that designer shit? I don't think so, man. That's a money grab. That's like... He's probably the motherfucker that told her, you could come back and win title. I tell you. Ronda, I tell you, you could come back and you could win the title. Head movement. All it takes is head movement, and, we're back on top. We're back with Hollywood is coming knocking on our door, and we're going to make so many millions of dollars. So many millions of dollars. We're back on top. You could beat Amanda Nunes. In fact, you're going to beat Amanda Nunes, and then you're going to revenge Holly Holm, and then you're going to beat Chris Cyborg because you are the Mike Tyson of this division. He probably talked to her so much, hyping her shit up. Probably hyped her shit the fuck up. You are best. Is best, bro. You is best fighter. Period. Man, female. Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather? No, it should be Ronda Rousey, Floyd Mayweather. You best. Is best, bro. So, and that's, I don't know if you guys know who Russell Peters is, but that fucking is best, bro, is like a little shout out to him, and one of his bits that he has is fucking hilarious. But, yeah, man, he is fucking out of his mind, like... Dude, does he have CTE? Is he suffering from some shit right now? Even Chris Cyborg responded, and she said, I don't know what's wrong with this dude, but I'm not fighting Ronda. Like, I wanted to fight her when she was in her prime. And that's another thing. If you're so sure of this, when Ronda Rousey was the star, why didn't you do it then? If you had such belief in her. Really, like, this dude's just trying to exploit her, and her mom was telling her to get away from him. The fact that he's still her coach, like, First off, he's your stand-up coach. He's your striking coach. And your striking looks like dog shit. You won everything with judo. And if you can't get people on the ground, you're fucked. That's common knowledge at this point. So the fact that your striking coach isn't improving your striking one bit and is making mass profit off of your victories, which all take place on the ground, with like the exception of Besh Kohea, like, why do you have him around? I get loyalty, but you gotta know when someone, I mean, like, you gotta know these fucking snakes when you see them. Of course someone's gonna be loyal when they're making money off of you for doing nothing. And when I say loyal, I mean that term very loosely, which translate into stick around. Of course they're gonna stick around, which may have the appearance of loyalty, but it's not. You're putting yourself in a shitty position. Because he already made, like, he's made millions of dollars off Ronda. And he probably thought that train was never going to stop. Because when you're on that top, when you're riding that shit, when you think you're unbeatable, my guy probably had his, like, he probably did his, I'm not even going to use the term my guy for such a scumbag. Fuck that. This douchebag is he probably already planned out his lifestyle at the rate she was going at. Now that shit's gone, he's like, okay, I need to cash out. What is big fight? Cyborg. But that's way a lot too late. You know what I mean? Like, fuck too little. Ain't nobody trying to see that. Unless people really want to see Ronda Rousey just get her fucking skull caved in by a savage. Like, oh, back to what I was saying, Chris Cyborg responded and she's like, bro, like, yeah, I'm not even trying to do that. I wanted her when she wasn't all fucked up in the head and when everyone said she was like this undefeated chick. Now that, like, as GSP would say, her stock is at the all-time low, I'm not trying to fuck with that. You're trying to use me to get your stock up. I mean, she didn't say that, but, you know, that's what it is. He's just trying to cash out. And she said, hey, if she wants to make it a fight for the fans, we could do it in WWE because I really think that's where she belongs. Like, she's more in that Hollywood WWE lane. And you know what, they actually did do, I read that they did some setup where she was with, I don't even know, some Three Horsemen bullshit with, like, Jessamine Duke and some other chick. And they were on WWE. I didn't even really give a fuck to, like, register that information in my brain, you know what I mean? So fuck all that. She's gonna go off in WWE. She married Travis Brown. She's living that life. And I think on one of my podcasts, I gotta look up who said it. Shout out to you. My bad, I don't have your name off top. But in my podcast, I was like, oh, good for you, Rhonda. You know, you got married. Congratulations and stuff. And he was like, no congratulations for me. And I was just cracking up, man. So, yeah, man, like, she's getting exploited. I mean, she's been getting exploited her entire career, but when you're successful, you don't really notice it, you know what I mean? And her mom was telling her, and honestly, like, I know from my personal experience, like, my mom knows best, so it's, like, really better to listen to her, because, I mean, she's lived life longer than me and dealt with this world and these people better than I have, and longer than I have, so she's already gone through it. So, I mean, the saying is, fucking smart people learn from their mistakes, wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So, you know, or even just like soaking up game from an OG, you know what I mean? So I always try to subscribe by, if I have a reliable elder or an experienced person that, you know, I know they know their shit, I listen to them, you know what I mean? Because from my past experiences, when I didn't listen to them, the exact thing they warned me about happened. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, so they know what they're talking about. Let me listen. So Ronda, like, you should listen to your mom, man. Like, and after 207, her mom said she doesn't want to see her fight anymore. Like, I mean, that's what fucking hubris does to people. Hubris, ego, it's all the same shit. Leads to your downfall, you know? When you're at the top, your head gets so blown up. I mean, sky's the limit for a reason, you know what I mean? Excuse me. Once you start floating too high, you're gonna die. You know what I mean? Your career's gonna die. So, she needs to just call it quits unless she's coming back for a tune-up fight. Unless she's fighting and someone who's like a chick off the Contender Series or someone just to get her shit back. Then that'd make a little more sense. But and that would need to come with a camp change too. You can't train with Edmond. Edmond is like the touch of death. I'm pretty sure Jake Ellenberger went to Edmond. Look what happened to his career. Travis Brown was ranked number 3 in the world, one fight away from a title shot. And he left Jackson Wink to go to Edmond, and then now he's damn near cut from the UFC. Probably the only reason he's not cut from the UFC is because he's Ronda Rousey's husband. So his career's in the shitter. I guarantee you, if he stayed at Jackson Wink, we possibly might have seen Travis Brown as a champion. Now, for like all the newer MMA fans, bro, Travis Brown was a beast back in the day. He was like a heavyweight that was moving like Dominic Cruz, you know what I mean? I think he took some time at Alliance as well. I'm not sure about that. I may be wrong. That might be fake news, but I don't know. But he had footwork like a motherfucker, and he knocked out the Reem with like a fucking teep kick to the face, Anderson Silva style. He so many fucking notable wins, man, and he like right when he put Shab face down, ass up, and ground and pounded him into retirement, that was his first camp away from Jackson Wink. And you know, fucking New York, man, hear all the street noise. Yeah, so that was the beginning of his decline, and just no one succeeds with fucking head movement. So fact that he's coming out saying this says one of two things. Either he's a scammer, he's a scumbag, he's just trying to squeeze the lemon dry till there's nothing left to get whatever juice he can, or he's just delusional. Or option 3, he just has major head trauma. Or option 4, he just has some mental issues. I don't know which one it is. I don't care. If Ronda's smart, she won't come back. She'll do some WWE shit. Excuse me. Make her money that way. But if she listens to Edmond, dude, I don't even think Dana White would make that fight, man. I don't even think Dana would make that fight. I don't even think Chris would sign that fight. This guy is just a fucking douchebag, man, and I'm going to put a bow on it right there. All right, what's up next? Let's go. I'm reading my news off bjpen.com, which is a fairly shitty site. But, I mean, compared to, like, MMA fighting and Bloody Elbow, it's really shitty. But, you know, it was one of my first sites I started going to for MMA news, so like I kind of stayed loyal to it. Not Edmond loyal, but like legit loyal. But I check everything else too. But right now I'm reading it off BJ Penn. Let's see. Michael Bisping contemplating retirement after putting a beating on GSP. Oh yeah. Win or lose, Bisping's retiring. After MSG, he don't want no smoke with fucking Whitaker. He don't want no smoke with Luke. He don't want no smoke with Chris. He don't want no smoke with Jacare. This motherfucker is trying to cash out and dip out. He got the belt. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna fight Hendo And that was more because of Hendo than him, because it was Hendo's last fight. He's a legend. Dual weight, simultaneous dual weight world champion in Pride. Fucking, hey, man, my bad about the street noise, man. but yeah, so after that, he got his ass whooped, got his shit rocked and dropped, and of course in the UK. Shout out UK though. I've been to London a bunch of times, and I love it out there. Shout out to all my UK listeners. Shout out to all my European listeners. You're all the best. I love you guys, and it's just bitch bang personally. You know what I mean? As a person, it has nothing to do with anything else. But we all know he gets biased decisions in the UK. I mean, he literally got knocked out in a fight and won by decision. So that's how it goes there. So for anyone to think that, and I knew they weren't going to give Hendo the nod. So he arguably could. I'm not even going to get into all that, man. But he pulled that, and then he was like, oh, I'll fight Yoel Romero. No, first he was like, I'll fight GSP in December, right after Bisping had his face all swollen and his shit all cut up. And he's like, Bisping, I'm coming, I'll fight you in December. The same time where DC, where he signed up to fight Rumble on that Toronto card because he thought GSP was coming back, because GSP came on UFC on Fox, and he was talking like, yeah, I'm that's what I'm like really coming to do. I already joined USADA. That's what I'm looking at. But negotiations didn't work out. Then, since negotiations didn't work out, DC was supposed to be the headliner. And then since DC wasn't getting the pay-per-view points off GSP, he pulled out. Then we got Holloway as the interim champ, Holloway Pettis. Bisping was trying to fight GSP on that card. That didn't work out. Then they're like, all right, well, you're going to fight Yoel Romero. And he was like, oh, actually, I'm hurt, but I was going to fight because I could beat GSP hurt. But, yeah, so I'm going to take time off. And then they're like, all right, we'll have you fight him like sometime in the spring. And he's like, yeah, that's not going to work. And then they're like, okay, we'll give you GSP. And then since they gave him GSP, they made Romero Whitaker, so he didn't have to face Romero. And then after that, he then they took away the GSP fight and then said, we're going to give it to Woodley Maya winner. And then they gave it back to Bisping. And here we are. And that was just a roundabout way to say that Bisping is the finesse kid. I mean, I don't know any other champion that really finessed the belt the way Bisping did. Bisping, if he was a rapper, he'd be Bisping the finesse kid. Straight up. That'd be his name. Because who else do you know? What other champion in UFC history won the belt, fought, I mean, and it's all timing too, but fought the number 15th ranked 47-year-old, and then after that, fight someone who's been retired for 4 years and never fought a single fight in that division, and was actually ducking that division the entire career when there was a dominant champion. And if Whitaker was the champion, I doubt we'd be seeing Whitaker GSP at MSG. You know what I mean? It's only because it's Michael Bisping. We all know it, but I'm here for the entertainment, man. Don't get it twisted. I'm here for the entertainment, but I want to see some real shit. I wasn't complaining when Conor McGregor went up to fight Eddie Alvarez because Eddie Alvarez just won the belt off RDA. You know, when Dominic Cruz wanted to go up and fight Jose Aldo for the interim belt, I was cool with that. When Cody Garbrandt wanted to go down and fight DJ, I was all for that. When TJ Dillashaw wanted to go down and fight DJ, I was all for that. Excuse me. So, like, I'm not against super fights. And even if they're giving us Anderson GSP now, I'd be all for that too. You know what I mean? That would be our Mayweather Pacquiao. But, you know, I'm all for it. But I don't know. It's just like, when it's just like an obvious money grab in our face, and the fact that he's saying he's going to fuck up the lineal, like he's going to fuck up the whole lineage of the middleweight belt. Which is like, we don't need that. If he retires and Robert Whittaker is promoted, yeah, skill-wise, he is the true champion. But when it comes to the lineage of the belt, from when Anderson won it off Rich Franklin, from when Weidman won it off Anderson, from when Luke got it off of him, it just messes that whole thing up. It kind of just kills it, and then there's a new one. You know what I mean? It's a little different when GSP retired from 170, because a lot of people were saying GSP lost that fight. So the next champion was the guy that people said beat GSP. Although it kind of did get killed, there was an argument that it was still the linear belt. You know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? I'm not going to hate on any other man for making money. I'm not going to hate on another man for doing their thing. I'm not going to, because it takes some level of fandom and pull with the UFC to do this, because Tyron Woodley's been trying to do some shit like that, and he can't. And Tyron Woodley defended the belt against top contenders. You know what I mean? And he was probably one of the most active UFC champions this year. And they won't give him shit. Oh, fuck. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say about that, man. I knew he was going to retire. If GSP loses, he said he's going to retire. GSP said if he wins, it's in his contract. He has to defend against Whittaker. But, I mean, we should know by now. We can't listen to what we're told before the fight. So, I'm not buying that at all. Yeah, that's what I got to say on that, man. So, he, win or lose, I feel like he retires. And my bad if you could hear my fucking mouth breathing. My shit is all clogged up, but. Oh, yeah. Max Holloway believes he's going to fight Frankie Edgar before the end of 2017. I got sent a picture a while ago by the homie Jamari where it had. It was a poster that Holloway put up that it was Holloway, Edgar, and then Cody TJ. And that, I don't even remember what card that was supposed to be on. Maybe it was MSG, but I don't think it was. But apparently they're having contract disputes. You know, I'm sure Holloway wants more money. He wants to renegotiate. So that's what's holding it up. And, I mean, I'm all for that. Let Bless get his money, man. He earned it, man. Like, when Tony Ferguson was negotiating, that motherfucker earned it. And they're putting their shit on the line. So let them get what they're worth or what they feel like they can, the most they could get at this moment. You know what I mean? John Lineker is returning. Who's he fighting against? I know they're doing Jose Aldo versus Ricardo Lamas, which is some bullshit. The rematch when my guy Jeremy Stevens is just coming off that win against the homie Gil. So it's like, what are you really doing? You know what I mean? Like, why are you giving him Ricardo Lamas? Why don't you let, like, what really is Jose Aldo's stock now? People said after Conor, anyone could get hit with one punch. All right, but Holloway unified that shit. You know what I mean? So I get you don't want to throw Jose away, but he did a lot of weird shit, man, after getting slept. So, I mean, I don't know why you're kind of protecting him, because Ricardo Lamas is a tough guy, but he already beat Ricardo Lamas, and that's like kind of padding him for reasons I don't know why, when you could throw him to a true contender like Jeremy Stevens which could catapult him into a title shot. So, I don't know why they're doing that. And then, so Lineker's returning against Marlon Vera. So, I mean, we'll see. That should be a cool fight. And then, so I did a video, and then I did 2 videos. Actually, no, that's a lie. I did 1 video, and then I started doing another video, and I was like, I don't even know how I want to say this. DC went on the MMA Hour, and he was talking about how he threw away the belt and all that. Or he wanted to throw away the belts, and his wife stopped him, and he said, like, this time he really felt like he did get handed the belt, and so on and so forth, and I could respect that. And I was talking to my man Dan about fucking about when DC got the belt back, and how he should have fought for a vacated belt, but he said he's not gonna do it because he felt like he should have fought it for the vacated belt as well, but the only reason he's doing it, he accepted the belt, is because the pay difference, which I'm fine with, and I appreciate the transparency, but it's totally a contradiction to what he's been chiming in the past, that he's made so much money, he doesn't need the money, he doesn't do it for the money. You know what I mean? So that's a direct contradiction of that, where especially when his behaviors, like I just outlined about him signing up to get the pay-per-view points with GSP, and then when GSP wasn't on there, he pulled out, and then when he pulled out of 197 and just to get on the 200 card, you know what I mean? So he does stuff like that, and I'd be cool with it. Like, I wouldn't really care, just as long as he was transparent about it, as he was now. But the only thing is he's just like being contradictory to what he said. So that's that. I could respect what he's going through. I really respect the grace he's showing to Jones, and the classiness he's showing. He could really kick John Jones when he's down, but he's not, so I gotta respect that. And let's see. You know what I mean? I don't like. I mean, you guys saw my video I did after 214 and my feelings about DC, and after that, it kind of doesn't change it. The only thing I thought was that he wouldn't be as relevant after that, but because John would have been champ, but obviously now he's champ, he's gonna be a lot more relevant. And he was saying, like, oh yeah, I could fight Gustafsson again, but he seems like he didn't want that smoke with Gustafsson, because he was like, oh yeah, we got Jimmy Manawa, I can fight Jimmy Manawa, Volkan Ozdemir's looking good, and if people want to take a trip down memory lane, there's Shogun. And then he's like, oh, yeah, but and then he realized how it was sounding, and he's like, oh, yeah, but I'm not, I'll fight Alex, but, I want something else. And he's like, oh, that fight doesn't have to be as hard as it was, because I could wrestle more, and that's just like, I could get it from his standpoint, but I'm not trying to see any more wrestle fucking, man. I'm not. Like, Anderson Silva, Daniel Cormier at UFC 200 ignited a raging fire of hatred within myself towards DC after that. I've never watched a fight and at the end of it have physically been upset and angered, and that was the only fight to do that to me. And I'm not trying to see DC do that. I'm not trying to see the DC that got rocked by Rumble and was holding him for dear life the first time. Second time he got rocked by Rumble, and then Rumble held him. So I can't blame him for that. I want to see the DC that fought Gustafsson. I want to see the DC that fought Bigfoot Silva. I want to see the DC that was fighting John Jones at 214, looking like he was on the same level as John. I want to see the DC that uppercut John Jones' mouthpiece out. That's who I'm trying to see, man. I'm not trying to see that Anderson Silva. I want to make my paycheck, so I'm going to hold you down, DC. If that DC's coming back, then you're going to hear a lot of fucking shit from me about it. You know what I mean? But if we're seeing the DC that fought Gus, if we're seeing that, you know, that DC where he's fighting like an elite combat artist, a high level striker, he might make a fan of me. You know what I mean? So it's all in DC's hands at this point. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on with John, and I'm not going to hold my breath. Like, to me, he's still my favorite fighter. I really don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's cheating. I don't know if he's doing steroids. I don't know if there's a conspiracy against him, and because the fact I don't know, I'm going to kind of be in a little bit of a blissful ignorance. I'm not denying that he could be a cheater, but you know, I mean, and if he doesn't come up with any explanation, like for real, like outside of some tainted supplement bullshit, because how would you be the only guy getting all the tainted supplements? You know what I mean? Like, how is that happening? And there's other people like, you know, like Junior Dos Santos, who got flagged for diuretics. There's Lyoto Machida, who got flagged for an over-the-counter thing, which is like it's like not a steroid, but it's just on the banned list. Like Tylenol's on the banned list. So caffeine is on the banned list. So there's stuff like that. But when you're getting like clomiphene and turinabol, and it happens to be in these products that somehow only you took, like that's I'm not buying that. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. The first time it was plausible, you know what I mean, because he was messing around with that cocaina. So that gives you that it makes your piece limp. So, for lack of better terminology, so that is applicable to that. But outside of that, man, like, what do you like a straight up anabolic steroid? Yeah, man. And another thing, bro, I saw some footage recently that I forgot about, which I have a high level of respect for Greg Jackson and Mike Winklejohn. And I think they're one of the greatest camps out there, and I think their fighting minds and IQ is on a whole nother level. But Greg Jackson said some sketchy shit, like after he knocked out Lyoto Machida, not knocked out, after he choked out Lyoto Machida, Greg Jackson was like, John Jones, Johnny Bones, John, fuck damn it, John Jones, trying to get his attention. Go, John Jones, go over there and check on Lyoto Machida. Get you some fans. That's legit what he said. He said, go check on Lyoto Machida and get you some fans. That shit is fake as fuck. And, you know, although I'm a John fan, I gotta be objective. I'm not gonna be ignoring bullshit to fanboy, because that's just like a straight up stan, and that's like, I'm not for that at all. You know what I mean? So there could be some sketchy shit, man, and he could be cheating, and he could have been a cheater, and I'm not denying that, but let's see what happens, man. And to be quite honest with you, unless a conspiracy, I've been saying this, but really, unless a conspiracy is exposed and brought to light, not any YouTube video evidence, not anything, through the system, through USADA, through the proper channels, a conspiracy is brought to light, and it says John Jones was set up, That's really the only plausible explanation that I can accept, because I'm not buying any tainted supplements. I mean, let's see what they come up with and what they say. But if they're doing some dick pill tainted supplement stuff, you could leave with that bullshit. I'm not buying that. But who knows, man? Maybe fucking Volkan Ozdemir is gonna be the new dominant champion. Fucking maybe he'll be champ in no time. You know what I'm saying? So you never know. But what, I sounded Canadian right there. Fucking yeah, man. But I definitely want to see Gus fight DC again. Rumble Johnson's out, so this division is really shallow. Volkan killed off Misha Serkinov and Jimmy Manoa. So, I mean, excuse me. Fucking A. So, Volkan's really the only guy left. Luke Rockhold, somebody pointed out yesterday on one of my recap videos that I forgot to mention. I forgot who it was. Let me go look at it so I could shout you out. That like his weight cut was bad, and that was something I meant to talk about. So Luke Rockhold himself said he's struggling to make the weight. So I don't know how long but he's stuck there because Luke Rockhold's champed and he can't go down anymore. So I mean, like, what can he really do when you think about it? Like, he can't go up. He's having trouble making the weight. The only thing that is really stopping him is DC. So unless he just says, you know what, DC, I can't make it. You're at the tail end of your career. I'm still in my prime. I'm sorry, bro, but I gotta come up. But unless he does that, I don't see it. I don't see it working out for him. So Cosmo Guzman said that. He said, he tweeted the same thing. If Branch didn't engage with Rockhold in the clinch, he would have gotten the KO. Rockhold's weight cut didn't look too great either. And yeah, I definitely agree with that. And even Matt Hatt came out and said Rockhold looked dead after weigh and he needs to move up. I'd like to see him do a lot more boxing training, which is 100% true. And Jamari posted a link on that video where it was Luke Rockhold boxing, sparring at Floyd Mayweather's gym, and that shit was looking atrocious. That shit was looking terrible, like very amateur. And I'm not even trying to like talk shit about anything like that, but I've gone and I've sparred with some Golden Glove guys that would sleep Luke Rockhold very easily in boxing. I'm talking about. Yeah, man, he needs to get his boxing fundamentals down, and he has everything to be a beast, and he has everything to be a giant star in the UFC. He just needs to make some minor adjustments. I mean, minor, but they're minor things, but they have major consequences, i.e. getting knocked the fuck out. So he needs to fix that. Yeah, so, and then another thing, everyone is like, just to talk about Canelo Triple G really quick, I'm not even talking about the fight, I'm talking about the judge herself, because me and Jamari still gotta do that call, so I'm not gonna say anything about that. But the judge, Adelaide Barrett, I heard some people talking, man, doing some shit online saying boxing is dead. You see, this is the problem with boxing. Which, I mean, that's 100% true. Like, don't get it wrong. I mean, not boxing's dead, but this is a big problem with boxing. Boxing politics run incredibly rampant, and it's crazy. But I don't know. And then I heard a lot of dumbasses making it MMA versus boxing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the UFC Fight Night was shitting on that. UFC Fight Night was sitting on that. I was sitting back. I was enjoying my fights at the UFC side. I'm not watching that boxing shit. I was watching some good UFC fights. I was like, are you serious? Like, anyone that gets territorial like that, whether it's a boxer shitting on MMA or it's a MMA fighter or a MMA fan shitting on boxing, I'm like, yo, you guys are just ignorant, in my opinion, because to me, that was just a great night of combat sports. You know what I'm saying? That was an amazing night of combat sports. You mean I gotta fucking watch dope ass mixed martial arts fights with people getting finished left and right, and then hop over and then watch an amazing fucking boxing match with two incredibly high level boxers, and then switch back and watch some more dope MMA fights. Like, that was an amazing night, and I honestly wish there was more nights like that, because to be quite honest with you, I don't even really watch the boxing undercards unless it's really good. But, you know, I gotta watch some dope MMA fights and then come over, watch the boxing match I want to, and then go back to MMA. I love that, and I think they should do that more, because that shit was dope. Back to the judge. People are saying it's a boxing thing, but what people don't know is that Judge Adelaide Bird is also a MMA judge. Most of these boxing judges are the same people that judge MMA bouts. What don't you like? What's the problem? Like, what don't you get? She was supposed to be a judge on UFC 216. She was supposed to judge on Ferguson Lee card. And the reason why I'm not saying that there's no politics in MMA, and I'm not saying that that politics play a role in decisions in MMA. I'm not saying either of those things. But what I'm going to say is that if there are politics, you can't really see it as obviously, because they're all under the same entity and umbrella. You know, when it was Canelo Triple G, it was Golden Boy Promotions versus a different promotion. So whoever lines the pocket of, if allegedly, whoever lines the pockets of the judges, that's where it goes in the favor to, and it's in favor of the whole company. But in the UFC fights, they're both their guy. You know, they're both under the same promoter. So, you know what I mean? I'm not saying anything goes on, but I'm just saying, like, we can't just be like, oh, it's only a boxing thing. And we've seen this, like, judges' scorecards look wild and crazy. And I 100% agree that it's much more egregious and rampant in boxing. And it is a big problem in boxing. And it is killing the sport of boxing, because after a great match, all we're talking about is a controversy. But I digress. Yeah, so I mean, they're the same motherfucker that judge MMA fights, and a lot of the times, I think that's why a lot of the scorecards look funky, not because of politics, but because these motherfuckers don't know what they're looking at, and they're boxing judges. And they operate under the same scoring rule set of the 10-point must system. So the scoring... My bad. This is, I already said this is a sick episode. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so we need to change the fucking boxing system. The judging system in MMA. Shogun pulled out of the fight rematch with OSP. Now it's Yushin Okami, which is like, that came out of nowhere, and it's in Japan. Maybe I'll talk about that closer. Let's see, man. I don't know, man. Like, what else is really going on? I don't see much going on. Joe Rogan thinks that Conor's not done boxing, which I could see. I could definitely see Conor going back in there. I'm gonna wrap it up soon, guys, because, like, my voice is getting fucking worse and worse and worse. So yeah, I mean, he said there's a possible matchup with Triple G and Canelo, which I think both guys put Conor to sleep out cold in the boxing ring. I think Conor McGregor gets slept like how Canelo slept Amir Khan. Like, if you guys haven't seen that, just Google Canelo Khan knockout. And then Amir Khan was like out for so long that shit definitely fucked his brain up. I mean, I got Canelo wrecking Conor. I got Triple G wrecking Conor. Like, it's not even funny. Like, I have them beating Conor so bad that Conor won't even be the same when he comes back into MMA because his chin would have affected his chin. That's like the level of devastation we're talking about. I see a lot of the top guys fucking sleeping Conor, man, in boxing. I see Danny Jacobs, motherfucker, beat cancer. What's knocking McGregor's ass out? You know what I mean? So, but there are good matchups. I mean, I think Paulie Malignaggi, Conor McGregor would be fun, and I really think that's the only thing on the table for him where he has a chance. And there's history to it, so maybe that'll be the next thing. But I'm not even talking about Conor boxing anymore. I want to see him come back, either Diaz trilogy or unify the belt. That's what I'm saying, man. Diaz trilogy or unify. And for all the people saying Diaz trilogy shouldn't be for the belt, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because Nate Diaz was a top ranked lightweight. He was a guy that, like, before his Conor fight, he fucking wrecked Michael Johnson, who's the same person Khabib beat that everyone was clamoring Khabib should have had his title shot and he should get it after that win. He's the same person Justin Gaethje beat that propelled Justin Gaethje into this newfound stardom and very close to a title shot. So Nate was ranked number 4, number 5 in the lightweight division. Most of his fights were in the lightweight division. He has one dominant win, a finish over the current champion, which, if I recall, that was everyone's claim for Khabib to get his title shot, that he was the uncrowned champion because he had a win over RDA when he was champ. He has a win over the current champion, and not only does he have a win over that, in the second fight that he lost, people could make an argument he won. So what's the problem with them having the rubber match with a belt? Which I think that was what it should have been the whole time. You know what I mean? Not the whole time, but after the fight was gonna be at 155 anyway. And then it was just because it was such short notice, they made it at 170. Since Conor lost at 170, he wanted to redeem himself at 170 because he didn't want to be 0-1 in a division in the UFC. So the trilogy bout, only now that it's square on the books, it only makes sense for the trilogy bout to be at 155 for the title that Conor holds. Because, I mean, like, I get it wasn't for the belt, but you could have made an argument that Nate Diaz was the 45 champion after he beat Conor. And that's what Nate said. So, I mean, a Diaz brother as champion, I mean, like, it really should have been done already by now. So, this shit needs to happen at 155 for the belt. Your boy's checking out. I talked about everything and I could. My sickness is getting worse. I'm sounding worse, so I don't want to annoy you guys with this voice. And you already know it's Mastermind MMA.